Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. I might try that again. Actually, this funny. This counter is really funny here. It bounces around. It goes to something 9 or 10 seconds, then just sort of resets. It goes back to zero. So I'll try that again. Hi, folks. Thanks for you're with Tacitus today, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to about in white countries, the number of white people, and particularly straight white males, being appointed to executive roles. Now, this is senior executive roles. Now, we need to sort of look at the business websites and business magazines and so on. Now, they're going absolutely, crazy with wokeness and trying to demonstrate that which company's got the most black lesbians on their payroll and this sort of thing. So it's out of control and it's hysterical. It's like children running around sort of claiming they've got the biggest toy or something like that. But just having a look at the executive appointments section. Now, a lot of executives are appointed quietly, and so companies today have got certainly an inclination, if not a real determination from sort of a marketing perspective, if you like, to say, look, we're employing black lesbians by the million, and because it makes them, as they would see it, look good. So that's a consideration we're looking at this. Nonetheless, what I've noticed over the last sort of couple of years, just looking at the executive appointment section, is how many what used to be, sort of 10 years ago, or even less than that, the executive appointment section, certainly wherever merit was concerned, would employ straight white men. Now you were starting to see at the edges there was a few sort of affirmative action type things happening, but now it's if you look at the executive appointments, certainly in Australia and in other countries too. I mean, you have a look at Britain and Canada and that sort of thing. And what you'll notice is that women now form the absolute majority of advertised or press released, executive appointments. And now I make a point of this, thinking, well, gee whiz, that I'm surprised that job would have gone to someone like that, to a heavy engineering firm, and 95% plus of all the heavy engineering sort of executives and experts and qualified engineers are men. So, on balance, you'd anticipate a man, but no, the idea of political correctness, the idea of quotas and wokeness and everything, is to turn it on its head. Has it straight white males been employed in these roles? Well, we'll just do the opposite. Black lesbians. There we go. We're proving that we're not fascists, and it's sort of, well, I mean, it's not bordering on the absurd. It is. It's completely absurd. I don't know how many of these people are hired, the proverbial black lesbian. Are they hired and just sat in an office and they attend a few meetings and they pretend to be, the company pretends that they're actual decision makers and leaders of men and all this sort of stuff, when in reality they're just siphoned off into pointless, stupid meetings, and just so they can say, hey, we've got a black lesbian as the chief engineer or something. So, but anyway, just looking at these appointments, and then it's not hard to look online and just have a look at the person's CV, and you look and you realise that they've put someone in that role. Clearly, it's affirmative action hire. That person would never have come even close to getting this sort of job in any sort of a merit-based situation. So they've been given the job over the top of tens of thousands of better qualified people, nearly all of whom would have been straight white males. So this is not just simply a case of window dressing with incompetent, well, in this case, it was a white woman, but it's not just a case of the window dressing. It means that a competent, qualified, merit-based straight white male was willfully and purposefully denied that job just on in this case, a gender quota or race quotas. That's the real problem here. Not only are they putting incompetent people and unqualified or minimally qualified people in the roles, they're denying these roles to much better qualified people, most of whom will be straight white males. And just to look at the bigger picture here, this woman was affirmative action gifted, university qualifications, very, very good passion gifted, university qualifications, very, very good passes. I mean, not many people get passes that good. So clearly that was affirmative action. So not only affirmative action degree, but affirmative action, a gilt-edged, gold-plated degree, which she obviously didn't earn, and has worked in jobs that are, minimally related, which themselves were affirmative action. There's been affirmative actions all over the place, and would probably be on the checkout at the local grocery store if not for the affirmative action. And now she's been appointed as to a very senior role, which with bonuses and benefits and the stock options, I mean, $1.5 million plus per annum. So this is quite $1.5 million per annum. I mean, you can get ahead on that sort of money in Sydney. So here's someone outrageously overpaid, outrageously overpromoted. But as you go through the list, though, of people who are getting appointed to these roles, you can go one after the other. You look at their background, you look at that, and having been at a sort of a VP level myself, and then I can look at that and go, I would never have employed a person like that unless under duress by the board of directors saying they want to window dress the company with black lesbians. Other than that, because you can be told that you'll be looking for another job if you don't go along with it. Quite some years ago now, I got a short stint while somebody was away on long service leave, as they call it. I got a stint in the human resources department, and I had to do a lot of the trainees. The trainees at the time had to do sort of verbal and written examinations back then. That's gone out the window. And so I had to look after these people, and I was told outright, all the women, all the girls who were doing this, you will pass them. You will put in the report that they've all passed and passed with flying colours, and I had interpreted that back in the day of meaning that I should cut them a lot of slack. So if they got 40% in the test, I should say they passed. I sort of perceived that's what I was being asked to do. But the majority of the girls didn't hand their reports in. I was getting I had to look after my mum and my boyfriend, and it was my best friend's wedding, and all the sort of stuff they gave me all the men, every single one of the men handed their reports, handed their work in on time, completely done, properly finished, and so on. But not one of the girls did, which so I again, in the spirit of what I've been told to do, I gave them some extra time and said, all right, then, well, look, I'll give you another couple of days to finish it, which I wasn't happy about. And the men, by the way, complained, why should they get these? Why should they get these breaks? And so I told my direct sort of boss, what I'd done. And before long, I had the head guy around, red in the face, and so on. I told you to, have I got to get someone else? Do you want to look for another job? Is that what you're? The guy threatened me with, you'll never work in this town again. I'm going to give you I'm going to fire your ass and all this sort of thing. And so still the girls didn't hand it in, even with the extra time. A couple of them did, but very shoddy work. And so I went to the boss, said, look, this is the situation. What do you want me to do? I don't care what the situation is. You will pass all of them. End of story. And by the way, I've got your number, buddy. And I'm not happy. We're not impressed with you. I thought, holy shit. So I was ordered to pass these girls with flying colors, even though none of them had done the work. None of them had done the work, and I don't know how much the situation's changed or improved since then. Not much, I think. But I knew a guy who did the training for firemen or fire officers, and they keep on and on lowering the standards just so more women can get into the firefighting units, and the guy who does the passing in, as you see, he told me that they threatened him with the sack, getting fired if he doesn't pass all the women that are in there, even if they fail, all the basic fitness and that sort of stuff. So anyway, that's that side of it. If we go through the people in the people that are appointing these executive appointments, then I haven't found one in the more senior roles. I haven't found not even one that would have made the grade on any form of merit. They're clearly all being appointed over the top of all of the much better qualified people, most of whom will be straight white males. So we've got a concerted effort by our business community, our boards of directors, most of whom will be globalist flunkies anyway, to go, super turbocharged woke, at the expense of commercial competence and business competence and qualifications and credentials and all that sort of thing. It's quite outrageous. And why would any nation or business sector do this to themselves? It's self-destruction, and they're going at it as hard as they can. It seems quite remarkable. But there you go. So that's the state of things with executive appointments. That straight white males are now, certainly are based on the appointments that I've seen, are now a clear minority when it comes to being business appointments. And I can't imagine a state of affairs that's more self-destructive to a nation than that. I mean, if you go to China or Japan or Korea or anywhere else, are they stuffing their upper managerial ranks or any managerial ranks with black lesbians? Of course not. So it's something that's only happening in white countries. Only white countries controlled by the globalists are engaging this level of outrageous and ridiculous and absurd self-destruction. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.